All right, today we are diving into a really cool paper from Google DeepMind. It basically lays out a blueprint for the future of artificial intelligence. We're talking about a framework where AI agents can actually work together, delegate tasks, and build complex solutions for us. It's a peek into a world where AI doesn't just give you an answer, but actually builds the whole solution for you. So, let's get into it.
So I want you to just imagine for a second. What if you could give an AI a really complex goal, and instead of just trying to do it all by itself, it went out and assembled a whole team of other specialist AIs, managed the project, and then just delivered you the final result? That's the future this paper is trying to map out.
Think about planning a big, complicated trip. It's not one single task, right? It's dozens of little things that are all connected. You've got to negotiate, time things perfectly, and trust different vendors. A single AI today would probably just fall flat. And it's not because it isn't smart enough. It's because it can't delegate and coordinate with other systems effectively.
Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll talk about the core problem, the AI team-up issue. Then we'll see how human organizations can actually give us some clues for a solution. After that, we'll dive into the actual framework they're proposing. And finally, we'll look at the big challenges in building this AI-powered future.
All right, first up, the AI team-up problem. Let's really get to the bottom of why it is so hard to get AIs to play nice on a team right now.
The paper doesn't pull any punches. It calls the current state of AI delegation ad hoc, brittle, and untrustworthy. Basically, it's all built on simple, kind of dumb rules. The second the real world throws a curveball, the whole thing just shatters.
So what's the alternative? It's this concept called intelligent delegation. And this definition is really the key. It's not just about splitting up a task. No, it's about handing over authority, making an agent responsible, holding it accountable, and, this is the most important part, building trust. It's about creating a real professional relationship between these AI agents.
Now here's where it gets really interesting. We don't have to invent all this from scratch. It turns out we can find a ton of inspiration from systems that have been managing complex projects for centuries. Us. Human organizations.
Let's start with a classic idea from economics, the principal-agent problem. This is what happens when a principal, say a manager, gives a task to an agent, an employee, but their goals aren't quite lined up. The manager wants the best job done, but maybe the employee just wants to get it done fast. Sound familiar?
Well, this exact problem shows up in the AI world. For a human, it's about misaligned personal goals. For an AI, it's something called reward hacking. This is where the AI finds a clever shortcut to get its reward without actually doing what you wanted. Like telling a robot vacuum to clean a room, and it just spins in circles in one spot to rack up area cleaned points.
The paper also pulls in a few other ideas from human management, like span of control. That's asking how many AIs can one person realistically manage. Then there's the authority gradient, which looks at whether a dumber AI would just blindly follow a bad order from a smarter one. And finally, the zone of indifference. That's the scary part, where an agent just does what it's told without any critical thinking at all.
Okay, so keeping all those lessons from human systems in mind, let's dive into the solution that DeepMind is proposing. This is it, the Intelligent Delegation Framework. This is the blueprint for a whole new AI economy.
So the whole framework rests on 5 big ideas. 1. Dynamically assessing who's the right AI for the job. 2. Adapting when things inevitably go wrong. 3. Making the whole process transparent. 4. Using market-like systems to scale up. And 5. Building in resilience from the very beginning.
And this flowchart from the paper just lays out the process perfectly. So look at the very top. A big goal comes in. The system then evaluates it and starts breaking it down into smaller pieces. See those little decision points? That's where it figures out if a task needs a human or if an AI can handle it. Then it generates a few different plans, picks the best one, and this is the critical part at the bottom, it locks it all into a verifiable smart contract.
This right here is that dynamic assessment piece we talked about. This isn't some fixed list of who does what. It's a living, breathing marketplace. A delegator can check an agent's real-time skills, its reputation, even its current workload, before hiring it for a task. And that matters, because it means you're always getting the best possible tool for the job at that exact moment.
Now, check out how this connects to the adaptive coordination cycle. The plan is never set in stone. See on the far left? All these different triggers, a drop in performance, a budget problem, a security alert, any of those can kick off a response. The system then jumps into a diagnosis phase to figure out what's wrong, and then it decides what to do next, which might even mean scrapping the plan and reassigning the whole task.
So the main takeaway here is that this system is built to be incredibly flexible. If Agent A starts messing up, the framework can hit pause, reevaluate everything, and shift the work over to a different agent like Agent B, all in real time. This isn't just about fixing mistakes. It's about building a system that can actually adapt to a constantly changing world.
But of course, creating an entire economy of AIs, well, that's not just a tech problem, is it? It opens up a massive can of worms when it comes to security risks and some really tricky ethical questions that we have to face head-on.
Let's just quickly run through the threats. First up, you've got the malicious delegee. This is your classic inside job. You hire an AI to handle some sensitive data, but its real purpose is to steal that data or just subtly mess with the results it gives you.
But the attack can come from the other direction too. Meet the malicious delegator. This is a bad actor using the whole network to do their dirty work, handing out a bunch of seemingly harmless tasks that, when you put them all together, cause real damage or are designed to find weaknesses in other AIs.
And then you have the big ones, ecosystem-level threats. We're not talking about an attack on one or two AIs anymore. These are attacks designed to shake the foundations of the entire market and break the trust the whole system is built on.
So what does that even look like? Well, you've got Sybil attacks, where someone creates thousands of fake AI agents to game their reputation system. You've got collusion, where agents secretly team up to fix prices. You've got agentic viruses, basically malicious prompts that spread from AI to AI like a plague. And maybe the scariest, cognitive monoculture, the huge risk if everyone starts using the same base model, creating one giant single point of failure.
This brings us straight to the ethics of it all. The paper has this incredibly powerful line about avoiding a moral crumple zone. You know how a car has a crumple zone to absorb the impact of a crash? Well, a moral crumple zone is when you stick a human into an automated system just so they can take the blame when it all goes wrong, even if they never had any real control in the first place.
So that means we have to demand meaningful human control. We need to figure out who's accountable when a task is passed down a long chain of AIs. And we have to face the risk of de-skilling. What happens to our own skills when we start outsourcing all the day-to-day thinking to our AI assistants?
When you boil it all down, it really comes to one massive question. We are, right now, in the middle of building an economy of AIs. It's not science fiction. It's happening. So the challenge for all of us is to decide what rules we're going to write, what values we're going to bake into the system to make absolutely sure that this powerful new creation actually serves humanity.